Hi guys, good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host, Eddie, and in tonight's video, I will be discussing why I think the third and final upcoming season of the hit fantasy series, His Dark Materials, should be the absolute best. Now, please be warned, I'm going to be discussing spoilers from Season 1 and more recently, Season 2, which just finished airing its final episode last Christmas. So if you're not caught up on His Dark Materials, you might not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be referring to spoilers, both minor and major, from the first two seasons. So you have been warned, watch with caution. That being said, let's dive right back into it. So first and foremost, I recently got into this show within the past year. A friend of mine recently recommended I watch the movie The Golden Compass, which I remember when it came out years ago, but I never watched it. I finally watched it and ended up really liking it. It was a pretty solid fantasy film. And so it was a good way to get introduced to this particular franchise. So I watched Golden Compass, then I binged Season 1 of His Dark Materials, which was great. I really enjoyed it. And then I watched Season 2 as it came out, episode by episode, this past winter. Unfortunately, I felt Season 2 was not as good and not as strong as Season 1. Overall, it was a very lackluster season affair. However, it did have several high points and highlights overall from the second season. And it did do a pretty good job in its defense, setting us up for what will hopefully be a very exciting and epic third and final season. So one of the reasons why I think the third season will probably be the best and the most memorable is because it is based on the third and final book in the trilogy of books that the show and the movie Golden Compass is based off of, His Dark Materials, in the same name. And the third and final book is called The Amber Spyglass. No idea what it's in reference to. I've never read the books. I have no idea what's to come in the third and final season. I had a pretty good idea of what to expect in the first season based on the movie The Golden Compass, but I didn't know what to expect for the second season. And unfortunately, the second season was left lacking and very disappointing to me. There was nowhere near enough Yorick Burnison for me, and I really started to detest and despise Will for being such an untrusting little shit. And overall, there just was not much, or not enough happened, and not much to remember or really make me say, ooh, yeah, Season 2 of His Dark Materials, that was so good. Not. Season 1 was great, though, and Season 2 will hopefully set us up for some pretty awesome payoffs that we'll hopefully get in the third and final season, probably some point next year. The third and final season recently went into production earlier this summer. I believe they started filming over in Europe at the end of May and are currently in production as we speak. Actor James McAvoy, who had a pretty prominent role in the first season and then appeared in the Season 2 finale, when it showed us him recruiting a bunch of angels to help him in his fight or his war against the Magisterium. He teased that Season 3 will be down and dirty and full of fisticuffs, as he puts it, probably in his funny British accent. So I'm excited. I mean, it sounds they were teasing a great war in Season 1. We got a few small skirmishes in Season 2, and they have certainly introduced enough parties to be involved in an all-out war. We've got the Magisterium, the witches, the armored bears, Lyra and her allies, Lee Scoresby, and he's probably not dead because in that final shot where we saw him, it looks like he was being resurrected by one of the witches that had come at just the nick of time before he could truly perish. I think we'll see him again. And, you introduce a race of creatures like the armored bears who live only, or one of the few reasons they live is to make war and fight. Then that means hopefully we're going to see Yorick back in a much bigger, more prominent role in Season 3, leading his armored bears into battle with Lyra and whatever other allies she gets to join her. Will we see the Egyptians again, or were they just a one-season group of characters? I mean, it feels like if they cared about their world, they would be willing to fight for it, and there's certainly a lot of them. So we could see Egyptians and witches and armored bears all fighting the Magisterium, and then perhaps either with or against the Magisterium, we've got Mrs. Coulter, who can now apparently control the scary-ass specters, which was one of the few highlights from Season 2. And also one of the few highlights from Season 2, we learned that the cliff ghasts, those nasty creatures we first saw in Season 1, and that we saw a glimpse of at the end of Season 2, are actually sentient and speak in their own language, and it sounds like they're excited for all-out war, because it means lots and lots of dead bodies for them to feed upon. But will they align themselves with Lyra or the Magisterium? Probably not. They seem indifferent, but they'll definitely reap the rewards of the carnage. But hopefully we'll see the cliff ghasts in action in some factor or another. And maybe we'll get to see some more awesome talking sentient animals and creatures in Season 3 that we have yet to be introduced to or we're even aware of. And maybe other large groups of humans as well. Honestly, I have no idea because I am not familiar with the books at all. And I'm really going into this blind when it comes to the third and final season. But I do believe Season 3 will hopefully be the best and biggest and the most exciting and action-packed of the first two seasons, where Season 1 was a healthy balance of drama and excitement, where Season 2 was mostly drama with very little excitement, and in my opinion, you need a healthy balance to have a good season or a good show in general. So it sounds like Season 3 is shaping up to be the best season of this series, and hopefully I'll be right. I'll be proven correct when the show does eventually drop, which probably won't be until next winter if I had to guess. The first two seasons came out the fall of 2019 and fall of 2020. And who knows, with the pandemic going on, although things are slowly getting back to normal, when we'll actually get the third season. Maybe next winter, perhaps next fall it'll air. But who knows? They're currently shooting it right now, so all we can do is sit and wait and hope for the best. What do you guys think? Do you think the third and final season will be the best season of His Dark Materials? Do you agree with me? Why or why not? Let me know down below in the comments section. And if you're going to refer to the book, please refrain from sharing or posting any spoilers for those of us who are completely unfamiliar with the book series and would prefer to be kept surprised when it comes to the awesome, juicy details that probably happen in the third book and will happen in the third and final season. So please be respectful and mindful of what you post. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Seasons 1 and 2 of His Dark Materials are streaming on HBO platforms on demand, so you can watch those in the meantime until we finally get our third season. Have a great, awesome night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.